Coming up, LucasArts is dead. Is Disney working for the dark side? Facebook Home? Now you can get Facebook and ads on your phone. No contract cell phones? Good, bad, or are you switching to Boost Mobile? Airlines want to charge you by your weight? Is there any way we can make flying more invasive? All that and more on this episode of Downloaded. Welcome to Downloaded, the show where we gather the most opinionated voices in the tech field today and focus that energy on the stories impacting the world. Now, don't attempt to wiggle your HDMI cables. I am not Jim Louderback. He's out this week, so I'm taking over, and I'm Bob. I brought a couple of friends with me on a replica of my couch at home, and with me I've got Menace, star of radio, television, and all-around great guy, founder of Post.com, and sitting next to him is my friend Justin Severson. He's a contributor and columnist for Powit TV, and he knows everything there is to know about Transformers. So welcome to the show, guys.
Hello, Bob. I'm very excited to be here.
As am I.
I'm glad you guys are here. So let's get down to the stories. So April Fool's has come and gone, but it left us with a number of cute, annoying, different sort of tweaks to the things we know and love on the internet. So at what point does an April Fool's joke go too far, Justin?
It goes too far when it impacts the actual usability of the site. If I visit a site for a purpose, I want to conduct business with that site, I want to upload a video, so on and so forth, and I can't do that because the joke is in the way and preventing me from accomplishing what I want to do, it stops being funny at that point and just becomes frustrating.
Yeah, that's what happened to me because I totally forgot it was April Fool's. So I go on Vimeo and I'm working on a video project that I had to get to somebody right away. I get on there, it's all cats. And it says, upload your cat video here. I'm like, is this real? Like, I didn't understand, and I didn't actually know where to go to actually upload my video. And I got stumped, but eventually it worked out for me.
So when does the effort for an April Fool's project overset the need for basic support? Justin?
I mean, honestly, like we both said, if I can't do what I visited the site to do, that's when it's too far.
Well, how about the effort that was put into the redo of Google Maps versus, maybe getting something like Google Reader back?
I mean, that's an excellent point. I would have much rather to keep Google Reader around than look at the 15 different projects Google obviously spent a lot of time working on for their April Fool's pranks.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into, which I thought was hilarious, was the whole Gmail Blue thing. And their video was amazing. But they should spend more time on.
Speaking of April Fools, I thought this was a prank when I first read about it. LucasArts is being cut by Disney?
Well, Disney's not a game company, I see where they're coming from. They're a business. When's the last time you came out with a really good Star Wars game? Think about it.
Well, the last good Star Wars game was Knights of the Old Republic, or the Old Republic MMO, but that wasn't even done by LucasArts.
Yeah.
So what's the good thing LucasArts done in the last decade?
Well, they had the redos of Sam and Max and Monkey Island, which were amazing.
Yeah, they're remaking things that everybody loves them for from the previous decade. And I love what LucasArts has done in the past, but to be fair, it's been a long time since they had a hit.
Okay. The only downfall of this is the mature game that they were supposed to come out with. It was a, what was it?
1313.
1313. Now everyone was excited for that, but other than that, I think they should wait till the new Star Wars movies come out before they even focus on games right now.
So if it were you, would you have let 1313 come out before closing, or do you think that this was a good move?
As a business move, yes, I think it was a good move.
So because this is Disney and there's a lot of money behind this mouse, do you think that this is going to change the way gaming is done and moving towards a licensing format?
Well,
Justin?
most companies do licensed games anyway. I mean, not many companies that own their own properties are also, a gaming company. Like you said, Disney's not a gaming company. There aren't many companies that do sort of everything in-house. So I don't think this is a shift in the market so much as Disney aligning themselves more with other IP holders and how they portray their franchises in spaces like video games.
Well, Menace, we normally associate licensing games with, like, this movie has been turned into a video game, and they're generally terrible. Do you get that feeling that this is where Disney's going, or are they changing that?
I believe a lot in the mouse. I think the mouse is not going to let anything lame come out when involving Star Wars. I think there's a lot riding on this for them.
I mean, I can't speak to the quality of everything that Disney has put out, but I think we are past the point of licensed games being automatically reviled. I mean, we've seen a lot of good stuff come out of licenses. Looking at Star Wars again, Knights of the Old Republic is a great game. It wasn't done by Disney. It was done by BioWare. So I think that the future is still bright for Star Wars games.
Let's move on to our next story. Facebook Home is being added to their Android interface. Is Facebook running out of ideas?
Man, I would have been more excited if there was like an Instagram phone coming out, maybe like a souped up phone that had a great lens and maybe some features that weren't available on the regular app. And I love Facebook. I love HTC, one of my favorite companies, but it's basically, I saw a demo and it's kind of just like you turn on your phone and Facebook is there. And there's a couple different functionalities that are pretty awesome. It's really clean. It's done really well. I'm sure somebody did add a hackathon and it was awesome and they think it should be a phone, but I'm not going to run out and get one. I'm not that addicted to Facebook.
Okay, Justin, Menace wouldn't buy one. Would you buy one?
No.
Well, speaking of phones, last week, T-Mobile made their announcement that it was cutting out contracts for service. And this week, Verizon CEO Lowell McAdams said that he would go along with it if it went well. So does this signal a major shift in the way that we buy phones?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I think, you might pay a lot of money up front, but in the long run, you'll save money. Because my bill right now is $300 because of data. And I've been trying to get out of my contract. I'm so locked in that I would have to, give my firstborn child to get out of my contract. So I'm very excited for T-Mobile getting the iPhone finally. I'm sure they're very happy about it. I'm a big T-Mobile fan. I was really into the sidekicks when they had them out.
Yeah.
I had every single one that came out.
Yep.
And finally, they're like, they're going to be part of the game.
And now that smartphones are so ubiquitous, I mean, we're seeing a lot of innovation in that space. And it's hard to innovate like that when your customers are locked into 2 years on a device. Buying a new iPhone is really difficult for a lot of people because you either have to somehow get out of your contract, which is very difficult, or pay a lot of money out the gate. And if you can just do that every year without worrying about the contracts, then that's going to be a huge benefit.
Do you think that this is really a game changer? I mean, Verizon's announced that they're interested in it. Do you think AT&T is going to make a switch too, and this is just going to become the new way of doing this?
Hell no.
Why not?
Because they make so much money off me alone. I can imagine how much money they make now. And because I know so many, AT&T works great where I live, but I know a lot of people that complain and a lot of people that want to get out of AT&T. There's no way that they're going to give people the option to get out.
No, this is an option that is for the benefit of the consumer, ultimately. Yeah. And asking if AT&T is going to do something for the benefit of its consumers?
No.
Probably
not.
So if they do it, they're going to find a way to spin it.
Yeah.
Like you can't get unlimited data anymore. That's not an option. You can get an iPhone. You can do FaceTime calls on an iPhone on cellular, but only if you have one of their tiered data plans. They're going to do something to make it worth their while. It's not going to be, oh yeah, thanks AT&T, that sounds great.
So, given that, do you think that you'd be willing to pay more for a phone if you could get out of your contract? And is this something that you're interested in doing?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm the kind of person who upgrades their phone every year anyway, so I'm already paying a lot of money. It just means that I'm renewing my contract every year, which is unfortunate, but if I had the option to just not renew my contract, I'm not really paying a significant amount of money over what I'm already paying.
Yeah, I just have to wait until my contract runs out.
You're locked in.
I'm done.
Yeah, they own your soul now.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Our next story is not technically a tech story, but it affects everybody here on the panel and pretty much everybody else in the tech industry who travels for work quite often. Yes. The Huffington Post has announced a story about a Norwegian economist who thinks that airlines should start charging its passengers by weight. First off, is this even equitable?
Well, first off, I'm so screwed on this one because I need to hit the gym hard. And I travel a lot. So
Yeah.
each man boob at least cost me $40 extra.
I was wondering if it worked in reverse, so that, Justin and I, who weigh a lot less, do you think that we're going to get to fly for free at that point?
Or,
No.
or maybe a 2-for-1 kind of
I'm
deal.
gonna be so mad at you guys when I pull up to, buy my tickets and I see the difference in the cost. But I think it's just the media just, making a big deal about it.
I mean, it's one
Some
of those.
quote from
It's one
some
of
guy.
those things that, if you look at it from a certain perspective, it does make financial sense. But there are certain times where you have to sort of ignore that for the sake of the overall customer experience. And I think that charging different rates for different weights is not going to make anybody happy except the airline. And as much as they want to be happy and rich, I think that's one thing that they can't really do without alienating a lot of their customers.
Yeah, I mean, we're already patted down fairly invasively, adding a scale to the
enjoy it.
mix.
Come on.
So do you think if this were to be put in place, that this would open up airlines to complaints and lawsuits?
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean,
I know there's so many lawsuits just because people have to buy extra seats because they're larger,
But is because it's always difficult to ask a woman about her weight.
Yeah.
Is it so private and invasive to find out how much a person weighs?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, are they going to make you get on the scale right after your baggage?
Well, there's, I think Samoa Airlines, I could be wrong, is making you actually stand on a scale and do it.
Wow.
Yeah. I can just imagine how much Kim Kardashian would cost just in each butt cheek alone. That would have been ridiculous.
She can afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you travel a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, would you lose weight so that you can fly?
Hell yeah, I would. I mean, travel right now is ridiculous. Ridiculous on what I mean, I book like a flight every week, and right now it's an arm and a leg, and I can just imagine. At least my girlfriend is 5'1", so
She can stow in the overhead compartment. It's
I'll
fine.
just throw her in the bag or something like
It's
that.
the best way to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next story, I cannot believe that this came out of our home turf. A man from Berkeley says that email taxing may be the way to cut spam out of our inboxes. A councilman suggests a minor tax for each email by gigabytes to help raise revenue.
Oh God.
Is this really the answer, Justin?
I don't know that I've ever seen a single email that's a gigabyte. I mean, it doesn't really sound like this guy knows entirely what that is.
Yeah, he's actually quoted as saying, "I don't know what a gigabyte is."
Oh, well, another quote that just got out there, and then people go crazy. But I think no matter what, spammers will find a way around it, and then we end up getting screwed because then we have to pay a tax on it.
Do you get a lot of spam? Is this something that you really think needs to be taxed?
No, I mean, well, I don't know. I have great spam filters in place with my email account. If I get any, I don't see it. And I think that in order to prevent spam, we have to really go back to, user education. Don't share your email when you feel uncomfortable. Like teaching people when to give out their information, that's how you stop it at the source, rather than trying to come up with a convoluted plan to keep people from wanting to do this.
Menace, so, if we were to institute this tax, what about charities and schools and things like that, if they have to pay per
It
gig?
would not go to the right people. Come on, Bob, you know that. Don't have that much faith in the system.
So you don't think that this tax would go to benefit
No,
something in
it
the tech?
wouldn't.
So, I mean, what do you think about this idea that we've got these people in charge who clearly don't know anything about this system of tubes? I mean, how do we go about teaching these people what a gigabyte is before they start taxing it?
Well, what's cool is it is the internet, so when people find out about this kind of stuff, there's a huge uproar. And what's cool is the people that come up with these dumb ideas, they find out the general public don't like them, and then they usually just back down.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to a point where we can really educate the current members of the government that are proposing these kinds of things. It's really just a time until they're
They die
no longer
off.
they die.
They
off.
die.
They're no longer there, and then more people in our generation are able to get up there and with an understanding of the internet. But then again, maybe at that point we'll have hover cars and stuff that we won't understand. So maybe it's just a vicious cycle.
Well, enough of that doom and gloom. Let's talk about some happier stuff. Roger Ebert's dead.
Yes, that guy was a dick.
Well, to be fair,
right.
his career was being a critic.
Okay.
So
all right, this is the thing that bothers me. Is like all these people that are like, oh, they're so sad that he died. You know, it's sad that anyone dies, but it's not like you were going on, you know, his website and checking out his reviews. When's the last time you ever did that, or have you ever done that? Ever?
Yeah, I mean, to me, being such a fan of video games, I mean, he was very critical of the industry. He would never equate them with the film industry and said that they would never be on par as far as artistry and storytelling. I mean, what do you think about that, Justin?
I mean, video games do have, I think, a long way to go. There are a lot of games that have come out in recent years, are coming out, that are pushing the envelope with what you can do with an interactive medium. You know, so do I agree with him? No. I think that his viewpoints of being critical do inspire a lot of people in our industry to fight back against that and push the envelope. And in terms of being a critic, he has influenced a lot of, you know, video game reviewers who have gone on record in the last, you know, day who have said, he influenced the way that I look at art, the way that I review video games. So even though he wasn't a fan of the medium, I think he has left a mark on that medium in a way that he didn't expect.
I kind of feel like he reached a certain point where he was turning into Baron Underbite from Venture Brothers, and he sort of, as far as I was concerned, lost cultural relevance as a critic on, you know, saying that people haven't really been following him or watching what he's doing.
Yeah, and you know, he had a kind of a dickish tweet when Ryan Dunn of Jackass passed away, just because he wasn't a fan of the Jackass movies, you know. And if you go on YouTube, type in outtakes of him and Siskel and find out who the real Roger Ebert was. And you know, you might not be as sad as you are on Twitter saying R.I.P., you know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People are gonna think I'm a total dick right now, but you know what? I'm gonna die. If you thought I was a dick, then say I was a dick. I don't care, you know.
Well, and he was really against the, you know, the video games lacking a cinematic quality, and the biggest title out there right now that really has that is BioShock. I mean, do you feel like this is sort of the next phase in gaming? Is it slapping Ebert from beyond the grave?
No.
Like I said, I think that video games are definitely moving towards a place where they can be more cinematic and tell a story in a unique way that you can't get out of a non-interactive medium. You know, you may not like the guy, but he did do a lot for video game culture in ways that maybe not everybody realizes. Am I going to personally miss the guy? I didn't know him, but I think it is important to recognize what he has done and the impact that he has made on the industry.
So, Roger Ebert, not the best guy, but maybe he has, you know, unintentionally motivated video games to be something more than it is. He's not allowed to defend himself, so we'll just let the man rest.
He's a god.
So let's end on a lighter note. There's the new meme that's going around. It's called Vadering. And it's basically where you take a picture with your friends or with your enemies looking like you're force choking them. I actually naturally have that power, but for those that don't, it's really fun. You can check it out on the internets. And it's basically an evolution of the Hadouken meme. And for those few kids raised in a box who haven't played Street Fighter, it's basically where you look like you are firing a fireball at someone in a picture. So let's talk about memes for a second. Like, why have they become such an internet craze?
If people they think if it's easy, they love it. You know, like a Harlem Shake, you know, and how that just became huge because it was so easy to do. And then if one person says it's cool, then everyone else is gonna do it.
So was planking cool?
I always thought planking was stupid. I never planked.
Yeah, I've never planked before, and there was the cinnamon choking where you try and chug some cinnamon.
That's hard.
I've done that for radio, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like your mouth is on fire.
So, but why would something that is clearly terrible and painful and yet so hilarious, why do you think that gets into our culture?
The fact is that, and this goes back to humanity's beginnings, we like seeing other people in really painful, terrible situations. We love it. it's funny. There's no deeper meaning than that, really. I mean,
Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin, the Three Stooges, we like seeing people get hurt.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Exactly.
Now that this is seen as something that becomes so viral, it's become a part of marketing. I mean, there was a story going around about how the Harlem Shake was actually promoted by all of these sort of subterfuge-esque companies, and that it was actually promoted by...
There's a conspiracy theory behind the Harlem Shake?
There is. What do you guys think about that?
Is it the Illuminati? Like what?
It was basically saying that there were all of these companies surrounding like MTV and things like that that were actually promoting the Harlem Shake, and that's why it started trending. And they were sort of using a movie that they had made off of that to sort of garner ad views and things.
I mean, it's definitely possible, but I mean, if everyone's having fun doing it, then who cares?
Well, yeah. Are you okay with this sort of marketing move?
Yeah. If people like it and they're having fun, it's not hurting anybody, is it? No?
No?
I'm going to confess, I've never seen the Harlem Shake. I don't know.
What?
I've not seen one. I've managed
Come
to avoid
on,
it
are you serious?
completely.
No way. I don't even believe that at all.
I don't know what it is. I hear Harlem, I think Globetrotters.
No, dude, no. That's a complete lie. There's no way that you can escape it at all.
Haven't seen it.
No way.
I keep him in a box.
Dude,
That's
in
true.
The room.
he loves
He's like
Roger
veal.
Ebert, and he says he's never.
Yeah.
I put this guy on a lie detector.
I'm
please.
not a real person, clearly.
That's all the time we have for today's episode. I'd like to thank Menace and Justin for joining me today. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or hate mail, just post them below in the YouTube comments section. Until next time, you've been watching Downloaded.